All right, let's dive in. Today, we're going to do things a little differently. We're going to look at a stock's technicals, but think of it like a medical checkup, where we diagnose its health from the inside out. So that's the big question, isn't it? Is this stock really as healthy as it looks on the surface? Or is there something hiding underneath? We're going to look for the symptoms, run all the tests, and by the end, we'll have a full diagnosis for you. Let's get started. And our patient on the examination table today is Society Pass, or SOPA. It's an e-commerce company listed on the NASDAQ, and, well, like a lot of tech stocks, it's known for being pretty volatile. So let's see what's really going on. You know, any good checkup starts with the basics, right? Checking the vitals. For a stock, that means we've got to look at its overall trend. This is going to give us our baseline reading of its health. So the first tool in our kit is moving averages. The best way to think about these is like looking at a patient's long-term health records. They just smooth out all that daily noise from price swings to give us a really clear picture of the underlying direction. Are things generally getting better, or are they getting worse? Now, we actually use two different types of these to get the full story. You've got the simple moving average, the SMA, which is great for that long-term, big picture view. Then you've got the exponential moving average, or EMA, which reacts a lot faster to what's happening right now. Using both helps us confirm what we're seeing. And the results are in. SOPA's current price is sitting pretty at 293, which is way above all its key moving averages, both short-term and long-term. So what's the key takeaway here? The initial vitals check shows a patient in a very, very strong and healthy uptrend. So far, so good. Okay, so the baseline looks solid, but now it's time for some more advanced diagnostics. We need to understand not just the direction of the trend, but really the quality and the strength behind it. First up, Bollinger Bands. I love this analogy. Think of them as a blood pressure cuff for a stock. They get wider when things are volatile and tighter when things are calm, telling us just how much pressure or price movement the stock is under. And when we look at the numbers for SOPA, whoa. The current price is actually above the upper band. That, plus the fact that the band is really wide, points to some serious volatility. It's like the blood pressure is spiking. It's a huge clue that the stock's price might be getting overstretched, moving too far, too fast. Next, we're going to hook our patient up to the MACD. This is basically a heart rate monitor for a stock. It helps us see the strength, the momentum behind all those price moves. Is that heart beating strongly and steadily in one direction? And wow, talk about a healthy pulse. Both the MACD line itself and the histogram are positive. That is a clear as day signal of strong, sustained upward momentum. This patient's heart is beating with a lot of confidence. Okay, let's recap. We've run our tests. The vitals are strong, the heart rate is strong, but you know, a good doctor knows to look for the more subtle signs. And in this case, we might be seeing the first signs of a fever. Which brings us to this question, right? Based on everything we've just seen, you'd think this stock is in perfect health. It looks ready to run a marathon. But are we missing something? Well, not so fast. Every seasoned analyst, just like a doctor, knows there is one more crucial test to run before making that final call. It is time to check the patient's temperature. And for that, we use the Relative Strength Index, or RSI. This is literally our thermometer. It tells us if a stock is running too hot, which we call overbought, or if it's getting a bit too cold, which would be oversold. And bam, there it is. The RSI reading is clocking in at 75.19. Now, anything over 70 is considered to be in that overbought zone. This is the fever we were looking for. The stock has been climbing so fast and so hard that it's now running dangerously hot. Of course, to be sure, we always get a second opinion. And the stochastic RSI, which is like another type of thermometer, confirms it with a reading of 100. That is as overbought as you can possibly get. So the conclusion is pretty clear. While the underlying health is strong, this patient has a serious fever and is at a very high risk of needing to rest and cool down. So now that we have the full diagnosis in hand, what does the doctor, or, in this case, the analyst, actually prescribe? What's the recommended course of action here? The prescription is laid out in 3 really clear steps. First, you've got to acknowledge the good news. That underlying trend is undeniably strong. Step 2, recognize the immediate problem. The stock has a high fever and is at a high risk of a price correction or a cool down. And so third, the prescription is to proceed with caution. And honestly, this quote from the analyst summary just wraps up our entire checkup perfectly. You have a strong uptrend, but it's overbought, and there's potential for a correction. So, what's the professional guidance? Think about taking some profits, or at the very least, hold your position with a really watchful eye. So, there you have it. We've gone from the basic vitals all the way to advanced diagnostics, and we've landed on a complete picture of SOP's financial health. The final decision? As it always is, rests with you, the investor. So now that you have the full diagnosis, what's your next move?